Gold FM is #1 here in Sigatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nel.
I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about butter cola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
In this bulletin, man's body found, 5-year-old girl remains missing in river as authorities call for advisories to be taken seriously. Deforestation and machine use causing landslides in Neta Siri. And Gawia villages receive much needed relief supplies. Good evening and welcome to FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. All schools in the Central Eastern Division will resume normal classes from tomorrow. This has been confirmed by the Permanent Secretary for Education, Dr. Bridge Lal. Schools were closed on Thursday after heavy rain and flooding in most parts of the Central Eastern Division. Meanwhile, Public Service Commission Permanent Secretary Parmesh Chand says all civil servants must report to work tomorrow morning. Non-essential civil servants were sent home on Thursday and Friday due to adverse weather conditions. The DISMAC office says it is sad to see that children and adults continue to ignore warnings to stay indoors when a natural disaster strikes. Yesterday, police recovered the body of a 54-year-old man who fell into a river at Visama in Nakelo, Tailevu, along with his 5-year-old granddaughter. Eleanor Turangaivu reports.
While the greater population do take heed of advisories and warnings from emergency agencies, some continue to ignore them.
For this heavy rain, we've seen most of our kids still running around, still jumping off the bridges into swift currents. And this is very dangerous.
Police spokesperson Atunaisa Sokumuri confirms the man was trying to cross the river with his granddaughter when they fell. The search continues for the little girl. Director DISMAC Manasa Tangivakimbau says they are now working hand in hand with the police to try find a way to ensure people follow directives.
We do not want to be reactive to such matters. We'd rather be proactive, and being proactive is asking the members of the public to take heed of the warnings and abide by it.
Tangivakimbau says they have also noted that blocked drains are causing flooding in many homes.
We would like the public to at least do the basic work by cleaning the immediate surroundings, clearing the drainways, and do not put rubbish, throw rubbish into the drains or waterways. Because in times like this, you throw the rubbish into these waterways, and then you'll get that rubbish back when it's times like this.
The DISMAC office says Fiji is not out of the cyclone season yet, and adverse weather conditions should be expected until the month of April. The advice remains: warnings must be taken seriously. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
The Agriculture Ministry says unsustainable agriculture practices are the main cause of landslides in Waindina, Neta Siri. Mika Longa reports extensive deforestation and use of machinery on the land has taken its toll.
There are about 10 landslides on the road to Ndelala's cow village in Waindina. 6 of them are massive, like this one.
It's frightening to see this huge landslide. That used to be a Yangona plantation and now it's all gone.
Some of them are planted on very, very steep slope. As a result, the landslide.
Deputy Secretary for Agriculture Uraya Wembuta says this is a clear example and impact of an unsustainable agriculture practice. He's asked farmers to be watchful on land preparation and the use of machines.
We really can see the difference between the areas that had been developed and the areas that still maintain the traditional farming system, and the implication that has brought to this present flood. We've witnessed that especially in the mid-Neta Siri area, which had a substantive landslide.
The silt from the upper Waindina River has caused difficulties for farmers downstream, Waindina is a major supplier of ndalo, cassava and traditional vegetables.
It's very hard to uproot ndalo and other crops to take to the market because of the thick silt on our plantations on the flats.
Our plantations are still underwater, and it was hard to pull ndalo from the ground because of the thick silt.
If they want to plant on the flats, they must make sure they also plant it on the hill, because the flood is beyond our control.
Prime Minister Vorange Bainimarama will give an official statement on his tour of Waindina once he's able to visit the affected villages.
Fiji Roads Authority is clearing the road to enable us to visit the places ahead from here. Now we head down and return when the roads are clear.
A preliminary assessment of damage to crops along the Waindina River, Tailevu and Wainimbuka flats is estimated to be around $1.4 million. Around 80% of the crops in Waindina were damaged. Mikalonga, FBC News.
Fiji Electricity Authority continues restoration works in the Central Eastern Division, with many areas already receiving power. In a statement, the authority says survey and repair works are in progress. However, the technicians are still unable to reach some areas due to landslides and road closure. The technicians are carrying out repair works at Walase to Nangali in Waindina, Naitasiri, from Kasavu to Koravo. Survey and repair works are also in progress on the Koravo to Dawasamu stretch, and power should be restored at the latest by tomorrow. Work is also being carried out on the Koravo to Nayala, Tonia and Wunindawa areas, and power is expected to normalize by tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Water Authority of Fiji continues to cart water to its customers in the Greater Suva area who have been without water since the flooding last Thursday. In a statement this afternoon, the authority says 5 trucks are carting water until the levels at Tamavua are fully restored. Electricity was restored at Waimanu last night, and the authority believes this will increase water supply into Tamavua. Villagers of Gawea in Lami have received much-needed supplies from the Fiji Red Cross Society. Most of the villagers were caught by surprise during the flooding and couldn't save anything else apart from themselves and the clothes on their backs. Red Cross officials visited the village earlier and noted food and other relief supplies like blankets that are needed by families. They later visited the families again to hand them their supplies, putting smiles across their faces.
I have lived here for 48 years, and for once I have received help from the Fiji Red Cross. I thank them very much for this.
I thank the Red Cross for their help following the floods. Our home too was flooded, and we lost most of our clothes. This will at least help us.
Gawea is one of the 2 villages badly affected by Thursday night's flooding. After the break, Electoral Commission says one-day elections is possible.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Singapore.
और किसके सुनिए यार, हमारा एक सच्चा साथी है मिर्ची एफएम लंबा साथी.
I love Mirchi FM. It's so hot.
देखे में लाल लाल, खाए में हाय हाय. Tangi tangi tauwa में Mirchi FM is hot.
Here at Rugby Town, Singatoka, love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Suva. It's hot.
हम वहीं लंबा में रहता है. तो क्या बताइए मिर्ची एफएम सुनता है.
Mirchi FM, बहुत जुलूम जुलूम.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Welcome back to FBC News. The Electoral Commission says the one-day elections is possible and is the best option for the country. Commission Chair Chen Banyang says this can be done with the right mindset and extensive voter education. Ritika Pratap reports.
The international community
Politicians have been criticizing government's plan to conduct one-day polling. The Electoral Commission has defended this decision, saying it can be done.
Each of us as commissioners have never been involved in a one-day poll. And so those were one of the first questions we actually asked the experts on, to say, well, how is this possible? And while some of us might have been skeptics in the beginning, the more we understood the whole process, and if the decree that as we see it now is drafted in that particular fashion, I think it can be done, and I think it might, in our view, that it will be a good thing for the country to do it in one day.
Chen Banyang says it is expected for criticism to crop up when something new is being done.
In every society, when there's something that has never been done before, there's always a fear, because all of us have experienced a 7-day, and even longer sometimes. But when we looked at it and we know it can be done, now it's on our shoulders to actually make sure that we put the manpower into place, the educations and everything into place to make sure that it happens.
He says there is enough time left to prepare the country for the general elections.
Well, I think it's still doable. I don't say this without actually looking at the requirements and all the things we need to set up, because we've got our experts and they still feel that even if we were to, say, get the decree out, say, by March and the supervisory election in by March, say, if that was going to happen, I think that still gives us enough time to actually do it in.
Young says they want the public to understand the one-day voting system.
It has to be one of the top items in our budget for voter education. We envisage at this particular state, after consulting with the experts, it'll obviously come in written form. Obviously, there will be advertisements, so it will be one of our larger expenses, so to speak, for voter education.
The Electoral Commission say there will be challenges along the road to elections, and they are confident these will be eliminated to ensure all deadlines are met in time for polling. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
7 highly specialized doctors from India will conduct clinics at the Suva Private Hospital from tomorrow, offering services that aren't readily available in Fiji. The team includes a neurosurgeon, a cardiac surgeon, a bariatric and gastrointestinal surgeon, and urology and kidney transplant experts. Vasita Kotewasawasa reports.
The team will start evaluating patients at the cost of $66, which includes any tests that may be further required at the Suva Private Hospital.
The expectations also, which is not only do they get specialist appraisals or assessments locally, but also that we can also get intervention as well as therapy or surgical interventions either here or away.
Dr. Rewa Louis says the team of doctors that is currently in the country come from Fortis Hospitals, one of the fastest growing integrated healthcare providers who have touched the lives of millions of people across 5 countries in Asia.
The services that are being provided by the advanced staff that are coming through gives an option for our clientele to be able to access rather high-end type surgical interventions, also assessments that can be done both for cardiothoracic surgery, that for neurosurgical interventions or surgeries, and also for pediatric advanced therapies as well.
Managing Director of Medicon Service Company, Deepak Singh, says surgeries provided by this team of doctors is affordable to the public.
Depending on the infrastructure, the price also changes. So for example, if someone would need a heart surgery, a baby would need a simple heart surgery under 16 years old, we can facilitate that for 4,000 American dollars. And this is at the Heart Command Center. And that's about maybe $7,000 Fiji, if that. So the costs are very competitive, and the other thing, with the international accreditation, they also use all the implants which are FDA approved and to the international standards, and they have a track record to be able to last as long as it can.
After initial assessments are done, the doctors will work to see how many patients will have surgeries here and how many will be operated on overseas. Vasita Kotewasawasa, FBC News.
Fiji might soon be able to reduce fuel imports if a biofuel project takes off in Vanuatu. Biofuel International has 250,000 Pongamia trees growing in the province of Bua and aims to start producing what they claim will be the cleanest and greenest biofuel in the world. Abisalamidaka was in Bua and has this story.
These 250,000 Pongamia piñata plants have been growing in Lekutumbua for the last 4 years.
This tree is actually indigenous to Fiji. It's here already. It's just it doesn't produce the volumes that we needed. So we brought in these special seeds that do that. Now, this is what starts to produce. This is a husk. Now, inside the husk is this. And that seed right there contains about 38 to 40% oil content. Literally, you squeeze it through a machine, it extracts oil, and within 4 to 6 hours through a batch system, it's ready to go in your car. It's the cleanest biofuel, highest rated biofuel that's in all of Fiji or all throughout the South Pacific or anywhere in the world, in fact. It's just that pure fuel.
This Pongamia tree is grown for fuel in India, and now, after 4 years of trials in Wonolevu, it's ready for full-scale production in Fiji. Gibbons says Biofuel International will be producing 6.2 million litres a year for 75 years. The company is expected to start producing biofuel next year.
Each one of these trees produce 125 kg of seed, and it takes 4 kg of seed to make 1 liter of diesel. So you'll literally be able to put this Fiji fuel in your gas tank. It's not edible, so you're not going to compete with food crops, and you're not going to have price fluctuations. It makes your car run 7% less vibration, or 25% less vibration, and 7% more horsepower. It's just a cleaner fuel to use.
The Matangali Tikinedake of Lekutu village says their involvement with the Biofuels International is a dream come true.
After retiring from the Fiji Police Force in 2009, since then I normally visit our farm manager in Reketi, and I told him that our Matangali have idle land. I then met up with Tim Gibbons and we visited our land. It was the start of this huge project. We are happy with the dealings that is underway, and we look forward for a fruitful future for the company and for us as landowners.
Tim Gibbons says they are planning to start producing fuel from next year. Apisolo Medoka, FBC News.
Coming up on FBC Sports, more female match officials for Fiji football soon.
Today FM is #1 here in Singapore.
We love Today FM in Lambasa. It rocks!
My favorite station in Nandi is Today FM.
Listening to Today FM rocks in Sabah.
Lotta kasi love Today's kid music.
I love Today FM because they play all my songs.
We love Today FM at Buniva Lambasa. Yeah, it rocks!
I love Today FM because it rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Welcome to FBC Sports. Now, local football fans, brace yourselves for some changes. In a few months, you can expect to see more female match officials working their way up to become top referees in Fiji. It's a long-term goal for whistleblower Finau Vulivuli and a good sign for improving diversity in the sport. Elena McDonald has more.
Come the Women's Inter-District Championship this year, you might just find more of these footballers taking charge.
Currently we have only 3 female match referee is on the FIFA list, just me, and there's another girl from New Zealand and the Cook Islands, and there's a number from around the region, there's assistant referees, and this year we're lucky to have Ndi Leone, another match official, joining me on the list.
Local district teams have implemented a new rule that will ensure they achieve their objectives.
Now we've put in place rules where the teams must have club competitions, and so for that matter they must have match officials, but sometimes they have problems in getting referees to come and officiate the games. So we got up the idea where we have to produce our own referees for our own club matches.
Thriving on challenges resulted in Vulivuli breaking barriers in men's football.
Initially, when I started being the first female match official, there were a lot of critics out there, but I think when you have good support and you are determined to prove them wrong, then you just go for it. And I'm glad that now, maybe after 10 years, finally people are seeing that it doesn't matter who you are, what gender, as long as you can go out there and do a fair game, that's important.
A benchmark has been set, and these women are the first to follow in her footsteps. It may take some time to earn their credentials. However, it's the prospect of knowing that their eagerness to take up such responsibilities is going to help Fiji football on an international scale, but on a different side of the field. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
The Telecom Fiji Warriors First Pacific Rugby Cup pool match is underway against Reds A at the Ballymore in Brisbane, Australia. Warriors coach Lance Whippy has named Rupeni Nasinga as the side's captain as they begin their defence of the PRC title. The Warriors are pooled with Reds A, Force A and a junior Japan side. In other PRC games today, ACTA faces Argentina's Pampers 15. bit of showers around the country today and most centers experienced fine weather. Suva and Savu were the only place that had brief showers. Lambasa, Nandi, Lotoka and Ba all had fine weather today. Ba recorded the highest on the temperature charts today, hitting 34 degrees. Suva had the lowest with 31 degrees. Tomorrow it will be the same as today. Suva and Savu can expect brief showers. The rest of the centers can expect fine weather. Now the further outlook, south to southwest winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate seas, moderate southwest swells. Our main news again. Man's body found. 5-year-old girl remains missing in river as authorities call for advisories to be taken seriously. Deforestation and machine use causing landslides in Neta Siri. And Gawiya villages receive a much-needed relief supplies. This week's poll question: are Fijians taking the dengue outbreak seriously? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. Or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply #FBC News. That's news for tonight. I'll be back on Saturday. Until then, have a safe and productive week.
Ito singa ta kuno tali ta na barong na radio Fijuan na station ngal mo tuwa.
Ako na poro ko na tali ta. Mandaw tali ta kini na barong radio Fijuan.
Kitongo isu untuk tali ta na barong na radio Fijuan station ngal mo tuwa.
Keto tali ta na radio Fijuan. Na radio Fijuan endo tali ta kitalanga Sintoka.
Station in Matino Pinatia na radio Fijuan. Kompan Beyan.
Na Radio Fijuan nandu mai biti na bonga ni BNN.